Here we are. Another Thursday.
Yeah.
Time for the Duluth Conservative. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
So let's do the overview of the show. The show is a show that there are some conservatives in Duluth, Minnesota. So in Duluth and Minnesota, I know some people don't think there's conservatives in either one, but there are. And we are going to have a little show and go through some stuff some news articles that have come up over the week that you may or may not have heard about. I was just reading the Duluth News Tribune today, Dave. The things they focus on, it's unbelievable. But a nice little fluff piece on Amy Klobuchar. Just wanted to let you know about that. Not that they're biased or anything, but some free publicity for Klobuchar again. So
right.
But the news organizations around this city and this state do not focus on the news stories that you may or may not have heard about. And so we are going to do that. And if you learn something, great. If you don't, come on for the conversation, express your opinion, give us a comment, and we'll go from there. You ready to get rolling, Dave?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of stuff to cover today. So
yeah, well, we'll see. I'm going to cut things as we need to, but
it's taking 18 pages. How did it get that long?
Yeah, I know.
But oh well. We'll hit the important things and move on.
Exactly. So the first thing is 4th of July is coming up, and so we've got a lot of celebration stuff going on in the area and then in the nation. And I just wanted to mention that I was talking to some other people about it today, actually, and said, "Hey, 4th of July is coming now." I'm old enough to remember the bicentennial. It's 1976. And it was a great time. I don't know what you did, Dave, but I remember we went to Spirit Mountain. There was a whole celebration. It was like all year. It was a celebration. It was a lot of fun. And I hope we can get back to that this year. I hope people treat this as a celebration. We got the 4th of July coming up around the corner. Big fireworks show, lots of events to go to. Try to just forget about whatever you're griping about at this point and just try to have some fun with everybody, because this is something we can get around. 250 years of the country. We're still a relatively young country when it comes down to it. Compare us to England, compare us to France, compare us to lots of other countries. So I hope everybody goes out and has a good time and actually tries to do something fun during this time. Things to do in Duluth. So I found a few things, Dave. Maybe you know some more. City of Duluth Bayfront Fourth Fest. That's just right down here in Bayfront. That's down by the lake. A lot of times we do concerts there. So that's something, if nobody knows where Bayfront is, that's down by the lake. We got the Hairbell coming. Ready to rock and roll. Hit up the annual party in Bayfront Festival Park with the rock band Hairball. This amazing show will bring back some of the 80s hairstyles. God. Outfits and, of course, legendary rock sounds. Bands include Def Leppard, AC/DC, Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, Poison, Guns N' Roses, and more. Guns N' Roses was kind of a late 80s band, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of. It kind of on the backside of the Hairball era. So
they were kind of a transition band. Like they first came out and it was kind of glam, but they really transitioned quickly into a hard rock band.
Yeah, and now they're I think they're wheelchaired around the stage. The actual Guns N' Roses, I don't think they're doing too well. But other than Slash,
it's getting really sad to be in the era of the oldies bands and the extended belly.
Yes, is Hairball going to do like the current or the what we know these bands as, or the current overweight, like the old Elvis and the thin Elvis and the fat Elvis? Which ones are they doing? I've never seen them. I've heard good things about them.
They do Motley Crue as it is today. You're not going to understand the dang word that's saying. And just so everybody knows, if people are watching, just so you know this, Dave and I are the same age that Kurt Cobain was. So just so you understand what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be fireworks, and there's a really good fireworks show in Duluth. They shoot them off over the harbor. You can see them for miles. A lot of places on the hill you can watch them. If you're out on a boat, it's really cool. So I think there's a Vista cruise that you can go on. I don't know if there's tickets still, but that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then there's the national events too, that there's the National Mall. So there's going to be military flyovers. Those are pretty cool. And they've got the real machinery there. Like we get really good flyovers here, especially during the air show, which is coming up. But they get the bombers and the really impressive stuff. I wonder how much it costs to fly one of those planes over for a flyover.
It's like $7,000 an hour to fly those things. It's just
really I thought it would be
outrageous.
more. I thought it'd be more than that, honestly.
Well, yeah.
There's going to be musical performances, including the Joint Armed Forces Orchestra. I saw the original lineup of people they had to do the musical show. It was not an impressive list of artists. It really wasn't. And then Donald Trump,
half of them backed out.
Yeah. President Trump will speak at 9:45 p.m. and the fireworks show will start at 10:30. So he's got a cap. He can only do it 45 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, can I go earlier? The show will feature 850,000 fireworks shells launched from 10 sites. That's going to be impressive. I'm going to try to watch that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So, like I said, go out, have some fun, try to enjoy yourself. 250 years. It's a milestone. And we should all just be really proud of where we're at this point. Even if you think we got more work to do, hey, you know what? You're a citizen. Work on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the U.S. is constantly improving, and we're still trying to improve. So forget about politics for just, the weekend and just enjoy life. So
it would be nice if they just forgot about it for this, kind of this area, this July. Just take a time off. Maybe, rebuild yourself a little bit and not be angry all the time. I don't care what side you're on. You can't be angry all the time.
Right.
But as you will find out soon, I can be angry at very specific points of time because we're going to talk about the Duluth legislative wrap-up that Dave and I attended. And this was done by our 2 Minnesota state reps in Duluth and our Duluth senator. And so let me turn it on you, Dave. Why don't you tell me what you thought about the legislative wrap-up? What kind of things were you thinking about?
I thought it was all like word of the day last week was lip service, and that's all I thought it was. I heard him talking about, things they want to get done, and I heard taxes. We need to punish the rich. We need to, they haven't learned a single lesson from, New York, Seattle, California about taxing the rich people out of the state. And I just heard a lot of talking without actually saying anything. So I was not impressed by our representatives at all. So
I wanted to take a look at my notes on this, but of course I don't know where they went. I think that the phrase "pay your fair share" came up quite a bit. Like they have a lot of ideas on how to spend money, and the only way they had to increase the money that they are going to spend was fair share. And I think it was Pete Johnson who said, there's people with 3 houses and there's also people that are hungry, and that's not fair. And I don't understand what they consider what fair is. But other than the communist socialist idea of it, which is where these guys are going. They're full on socialists now, but they're screaming toward communism. They want to take possession of all your land now. Like Kozlowski wants to make sure that they can put high density housing anywhere in the city. And they tout it as this is a good thing. But I want to know if people want a 6-plex next to their house, into their little neighborhood, with cars lined down the street, because you're not going to have parking for it. Anywhere in the city, anywhere. Are you going to be okay with that? Are you really going to be okay with that? And it was also disturbing, staying with Pete Johnson, who I think he's a really smooth talker, but I don't think he cares one bit about things. Said something about, and they were all talking about people being kidnapped off the streets. That
Oh yeah.
emotional rhetoric they use to say people are being kidnapped off the street, not arrested, not detained, and you're ripping families apart. Well, it's ripping families apart the same way a bank robber rips his family apart, meaning he went and broke the law and he's going to jail. You think the kids go to jail with them? They don't. So he's ripping his family apart by doing a bank robbery, same as illegal aliens in our state, in our country. But Pete said something that, and I wrote it down because this is a quote from Pete from that night. They were kidnapping people out of the street. Here's the quote part: for how they spoke or the color of their skin. What he's trying to get across is that if you're not white, you will get picked up and taken in custody, which is absolutely not true. They also made it sound like they were going into schools and taking people, which they have not done. They're not going after kids. They're going after the adults. And it's all this emotional blackmail they try to do. Everything they did between immigration service and taxes and why we're paying for everything, it's all emotional blackmail. Why wouldn't you help people? But remember this, people are working 2 to 3 jobs to try to make ends meet. And it goes back to the teachers union that we talked about. They're complaining, and rightfully so. They don't make enough money. Their insurance has gone way up. Their taxes are going way up. But their solution was, could you as a legislator guarantee me a high wage, guarantee that I don't have to pay for my health insurance, guarantee that my pension is paid for? Well, that then, if you do that stuff, then burdens the taxpayers. And guess what? Taxes go up, and their pay goes down, and their insurance goes up, and their pension goes down. And you can't if you don't understand that doing one causes the other, then you're just looking out for your own well-being and losing the big picture, which is everybody's in on this. Everybody's insurance is too high, unless you're ultra wealthy. And if you're ultra wealthy, how did you get there? You either earned your money, or you given your money, or you got awful lucky and won the lottery. None of those things are things that say the government is owed your money. And that's what they tried to pass this year on a wealth tax, which they didn't talk about in this legislative wrap-up. The wealth tax is they wanted 1% of anything that you had in assets over $10 million. It was either 5 or 10 million. I can't remember the top, but it was not income. It was assets. Who will invest in this state when they pass something like that? Because getting $5 to $10 million assets, which I don't have, but it's fairly easy to do when you got some money to get that much. And that's in perpetuity. That's just starting out. That's not, we're taking 1% of $5 million. We're taking 1% of everything you have, 5 million and above, every year, which is just trickling down and giving it all back to the government. And this is why 2 out of those 3 candidates are being endorsed by the, the Democrat Socialists of America.
Yeah, DSA, yep.
Yeah, and they are fully wrapped in the socialist agenda, which is take money from everybody and give it to who we think is right. And then we'll take a cut as well. So as legislators, they sit on top of the pile. And then we down below just get to work as slaves for them so that we can go to our jobs, earn enough money so that they can pay out to the people they think are important. They take our money and just distribute it out to other people. And it's just wrong. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know. What do you think, Dave? Am I off the rocker here?
No, because if they ever get that passed, this year it'll be 1% of 10 million. Next year it'll be 1% of 5 million. Well, that didn't fix everything. So now we need 2% of 1 million. It'll just keep going down until it's 50% of 100,000. Right. So if you have any assets you have over $100,000, they get 50% every year. And they don't understand that any renter who lives in a nice, decent size apartment building will have to eat that, because no one's going to eat that money. They're going to pass it down to the end user. So that tax will be you won't be able to rent anymore because that'll be out of line too. So,
But they have a solution for that, Dave. Their solution is rent control. You don't have to pay any more rent year to year. Now, that doesn't mean that the property taxes don't go up or the maintenance doesn't go up. So you put rent control in place. You don't allow people to get more money to take care of their place, and then the thing starts going to squalor. You know what the next step is? Well, we just take control of those properties as a government because you're not keeping them up.
Yeah.
And there you go. And that's communism right there. Boom. You just jumped from socialism to communism, right? In one step.
And there was a story from the KSTP a couple nights ago about this project that it was a state and private equity thing down in the cities. I can't remember the name of it, Highland Park or something like that, where they had invested $1 million into these apartment buildings. 20 years later, it's all Section 8 and it's all garbage. You can't, unlivable. There's so much black mold in it because nobody was there taking care of it. Mm-hmm. That's a part of the socialism, communism that does not work. They're going to take it over, but then it's going to go into squalor.
Right.
It always does.
That's something that Kozlowski said too. She wants landlords to be forced basically to take Section 8 housing. She was concerned that not enough of them will take Section 8 housing. Some guy stood up and said, look, I'm not building properties because I don't want to. I'm not building properties because it's not cost effective to do it. It costs $40,000 more to build a new house in Duluth or in Minnesota than it does right across in either Wisconsin or North Dakota. And that's because of the regulations they put in place and the green energy stuff they put in place and all the other permits you have to get and all the other hoops you have to go through. And so the guy and even Pete Johnson was saying, well, the problem is we have all these empty lots in Duluth. We got to build on them. You don't own those lots, Pete.
Right.
Those are privately held plots of land. You don't get to dictate what they do to those, but you want to, right? Because we got no kings, but we sure got a lot of princes and princesses running around dictating things.
Right.
So it was chilling to hear this. If they get a Democratic trifecta again, we are doomed as a state. They are chomping at the bit. We had one tie out of the 3 branches of government. We had one that we didn't control, but we tied, and we were able to stop them. But as they get that back, if they get the trifecta back, they're going full throttle, just like they did last time. And it's going to be dooming us. They talked about the unfunded mandates, and the unfunded mandates, Pete at least acknowledged what they were, but he's like, well, but you're feeding kids, you're doing this, people are making careers out of it. So what's so bad about it? It's unfunded, Pete. So to fund it, we have to work more. We, the taxpayers, have to work more. And this isn't government workers, and this isn't teachers. They don't pay into the tax base. They pay taxes. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't work hard, but the money that they put in is from the government in the first place. So it's the big pot of money. And what they do is to pay them, we take out of the pot of money. As a private business, I pay into that pot of money. You get rid of me, you get less in the pot of money. You get more of the teachers, you're just getting less out of the pot of money, or more out of the pot of the money. So it's private people, private businesses that are paying into this pool, and we have to work like nuts to pay for all your social programs because you decided it was a good thing to do.
Yeah.
He even talked about, we have to pay, in Minnesota, we have to pay for kids' lunches in school. It doesn't matter the kid. Every kid gets a free lunch.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And Pete even brought it up. Well, people say, what do you want to pay? Why don't you just pay for the low income? Well, this is feeding all the kids. Isn't that a good thing? It helps the parents. They don't have to spend $160 a year on food. Well, how about the childless couple that never had kids? Why are they feeding their kids? What about the ones you love to complain about, which is the 1%? What about their kids going to school? You're going to feed those. Why are you willing to do that? I don't know. It's crazy talk.
Yeah, I mean they're paying for the ultra rich to feed their kids at school, and and then complain about them at the same time, not paying their fair share.
Right.
It's like,
Fair
well,
share.
which is it? Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
And then the other thing they said was, well, the schools aren't fully funded. Yeah, you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be trying to be efficient with the money as possible. But if we just give you any amount of dollars, you're just going to spend any amount of dollars, and you're going to not have any money to end up with. You're just like a child spending money at a toy store.
Yeah. Fully
Oh,
funded.
wait.
Their definition of fully funded is we get all the money we need. Honestly,
Yeah.
God, that was his definition when I pressed them. And
Right.
they can't justify that. We can't justify it. We can't spend all our money in schools, especially when their results are so poor. Less than
Yeah.
50% of the students in Minnesota can read and do math and write at grade level. Less than 50%. Throwing money in it is not fixing it, because we're paying more now per child than private schools were, getting 5 years ago. And I don't even know what the equation is now. It's crazy. And
Right.
so legislative wrap up to me was they took a lot of credit. They could have credit for, oh, we gave you property tax relief. Well, you're the ones who caused it to be raised, and you only did it for 1 year. The tabs,
Yeah.
1 year. Well, why is it 1 year, Dave? Well, it's an election year, isn't it? So of course
Right.
they're going to do that. And then they're going to go around the state. And even Pete Johnson was like, hey, we got this office of Inspector General. Look at how cool we are. Well, no, you took the one from the Senate, you neutered it, you made it a report to the governor, you got it appointed
Right.
by the governor, you took it from looking at past fraud and preventing future fraud to just not looking at past fraud at all, because why would you want to do that? You might get caught at something, or your buddies might.
Right.
So touting that is a big deal after you voted against it and against it. Every Democrat voted against this office for 3 years. And only when the Democrats came up with the plan where they could neuter it and make it go to the governor did they go with it. And they know exactly what they're doing. This is exactly why they're doing it, so that they can have the governor office, and then they don't have to worry about it anymore. Just like when fraud was being reported to the state level for 4 years, and nobody would talk about it during the trifecta. Well, hey, we got a comment. Somebody said, can I ask a question? You can ask a question. This is live, baby. Well, that sounded really stupid, didn't it? This is live, baby.
That's
we'll
your
put it on
radio disc jockey voice.
If it's actually a question and we are okay with it, we'll put it on. So I want to talk a little bit about the DSA. This is the endorsements by the DSA. Who's the DSA? Duluth Socialists of America, or Association, or whatever they are. They're socialists. You see this right here? That's Leash Kozlowski. She's the Duluth East District 8B representative right now. Most of the city council members are endorsed by this group. And what does the DSA believe in? Well, here's one thing they believe in: Medicare for all, fight mass incarcerations and police brutality. Well, I don't want police brutality. I can go with that. Housing for all. It's a human right. That's what Leash was saying.
Yeah.
End the war on drugs. College for all. College for all. So we already pay for schools for kids from the age of 5 to 18. But no, that's not good enough. Now they have to go to a 4-year degree and pay for it too, even if they don't want it or don't use it. Let's see. I got another one up here.
Hardworking families.
Here's the next one. A 32-hour work. We don't want to work as much. We're going to tax the rich. Rich, just so you know, rich is anything over what they get. And they get nothing because they don't work.
Right.
Union power, Green New Deal. So the green scam again. Let's take this out. I got another one. And this is straight off their website. I'm not making this stuff up. Let's see. Did I do this one? This was a bad one. I should have done a different one. Free Palestine. Freedom of movement. Okay, so I'm going to put the other one on that actually tells what this is. So they've got a detailed one. So this was 3. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay, Free Palestine, an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza. So the socialists are trying to get the state representatives to do something about Gaza, which means nothing.
They can't.
Ends economic sanctions that impact the sovereignty of countries whose government act independently of the United States, such as Cuba, the communist country Cuba, Venezuela, and Iran. Greatly reduce the U.S. military budget, close overseas bases, and bring troops home. Yeah, they want us poor, they want us defenseless, and they want us to be set up to be overtaken by a communist country. Allow workers to freely migrate between countries to seek employment without restrictive immigration controls. They want open borders.
Well, they can leave at any time.
No, they can't. Other countries don't take them because other countries have immigration control. Everyone except us.
Right.
And then let's see. That was 4. I thought we had a better one than that. I'll see if this is the same one. Sorry, I can barely see them when I'm popping them up, so we'll see. Ah, yes. Universal suffrage. Extend full voting rights to people with criminal convictions, and they mean felons, and non-citizens. They want non-citizens to be able to vote in our elections. What do you think those people are going to vote for?
Right.
They want the popular vote for president because, first of all, Donald Trump won the popular vote, right? He did. So
just in 2024, yeah.
This last one. But you know what's going to happen? So if you take away the Electoral College, what you're going to have is candidates only have to worry about California, Florida, Texas. And they will
New York.
go there. So guess what? You know, you live in the Twin Cities or you live in the Twin Ports. You like Lake Superior? Well, they need water in Nevada. Well, we got a lot of people in Nevada. So what we're going to do is promise to pipe the Great Lakes water out to your state. They don't care about us. We will be fourth-class citizens at that point. It's bad enough the way it is now. Here's one of my favorite ones. Replace the two-party system with a multi-party democracy through proportional representation elections. Yeah, okay. Did you ever watch about the fall of Rome? That's when they overdid Congress. There's a whole thing of reasons why Rome fell, but my God. And then reduce the power of the Supreme Court, because God knows they don't want people to rule on constitutionality of things, because they don't want the Constitution. They want a communist nation.
Right. They want to be able to do whatever they feel like.
Exactly. So that's their Democrat socialists. And if you support that, you know where to go to get those people involved. If you don't support it, maybe you should start thinking about not voting for the people that they endorse. Okay.
Because they represent the party, not the people.
I don't think they represent anybody in this country. I think it's funded from outside this country.
Yeah.
There's no way a citizen can actually rightfully, in their right brain, think that letting non-citizens vote in elections is a good idea. It's either stupidity or suicide, one of the two.
It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So they're trying to accomplish winning, and so if other countries are in voting, then they get with their way, because that's all they really care about is getting their way. So
right. We got a comment here. All right, put this in. Blah 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 blah. Freedom of religion. Go read it. Do you even know what I'm talking about? What religious thing was I talking about there, Dave? Jesus.
We weren't talking about religion. We're talking about socialism.
I don't think I even talked about religion once in that. Oh, yeah. No, we're not sending our best here. I'm going to move on. Okay, Dave, do you want anything else with this?
Yeah, it's 30 minutes in. I suppose we
Okay.
should wrap her up.
I'll start dropping through some of these things. Governor Tim Walz pardons a criminal illegal alien to stick it to Trump, who was convicted of sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl. So this is the pardons board, which exists, and it has 3 people on it. It has Tim Walz, Keith Ellison, and some Supreme Court judge lady. Those are the people. So when you're talking about no kings, here's the kings in Minnesota. They self-choose. We're just going to pardon this guy who is sexually abusing a girl repeatedly, a 10-year-old girl. So if you're okay with this, you got to get your head examined. This is so bad. And they did it just so he couldn't get deported. They want to keep him here.
Yeah.
So we'll post that link. And I'll post you the site to the About Us for the Board of Pardons. And if you want to, you can send them a little comment of what you think of them. And whether you support them or not, they got a way to comment to them. So go for it.
Yeah, if you think releasing child abusers on the street is a good thing, just so he can stick it to Trump, that's...
The guy voted, he commented against, we're starting to get it. You can't stand freedom of religion. I still haven't talked about religion. You moron. Yeah. Okay. Asmongold, he's this is a YouTuber that talked, and he has a channel, and he's pretty popular, and he's a very interesting guy. But he talks about birthright citizenship because they had this ruling now that birthright citizenship is a thing. You get born in this country, you're a citizen. And he just talks about how it doesn't make any sense. And when it was instituted was right after the Civil War. And we can play his clip. It's a little long, but you could play the beginning of it. You got to click on enable his playback and then click on it again.
Or not.
Well, no, it's kind of scroll up a little
There
bit.
it
It kind
goes.
of says what he's saying. This isn't going to work for you. So just pause this and scroll up just a little bit.
Most countries do not have birthright citizenship. It is not even something that is the norm. It's retarded.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like my connection.
Yeah, and see, he said something like, this is like a video game. If this was a video game, this would have been a hack that people had that would have been fixed in the first revision because it just doesn't make any sense. And I agree with him. You can't tell me that a woman who is 9 months pregnant walks into this country, immediately gives birth, and then goes back to her country, now has a U.S. citizen with her. I mean, it does not make sense at all. If somebody could explain it to me to make sense, great. But I don't think you can. I've heard all the arguments so far. And then federal prosecutors are now directed to prioritize birth tourism after Supreme Court birthright citizenship ruling. And so that's the Department of Justice response. I was wondering, as it came to my head, if I'm born on the Fond du Lac Reservation, does that make me a member of the tribe? No, of course it doesn't.
No.
But that's kind of the way this was set up, right? Fond du Lac Reservation is a sovereign tribe. That's the Indian, the tribal government. That's their land. If I'm born on that, I don't become a member of the tribe. I just say I was born there, but I'm in Minnesota. I'm an American citizen, right?
Yeah.
And the last thing I had in the top stories, we don't have to play this. You don't have to bring it up. Karen Johnson, who people usually know as Whoopi Goldberg, she makes everything about race. And what she said was, the New York Knicks are going to the White House, first time ever. And she goes, and she makes a big point of saying, I want those black men, and gets applause because she's on The View, to stand in our house and remind all those people that when you try to destroy one part of history, you're destroying all of our histories. But she never mentions what part of our histories are being destroyed. I don't understand what she's talking about. Who's destroying what history? But she wants to make a big deal out of it. Again, the emotional appeal, and everybody's plotting like seals in that audience. It drives me nuts. So I got to get him in a better mood here, Dave.
She did it when J.D. Vance, the vice president, was on, and he actually asked her about stuff like that, and she couldn't answer it.
Right.
So, like you said, she's going for the feeling, but she has nothing to back up any of her statements.
Right.
So.
And the way she talks, she acts like, well, it's going to be black guys there. I mean, he's going to be really nervous. Trump is going to be really nervous. Or we can't stand to be around black people. What century do you live in?
Right.
You know, it's like, why do you have to separate everything out by race? It doesn't make any sense. But she gets, she has a job still.
Right.
Okay.
Well, they are getting investigated by the FCC because they're so political instead of a variety show, like they're indicated that
Right.
they've kind of gone over the edge of what their show is supposed to be. So,
right. All right. We're going to move on to Duluth news 35 minutes in. We got a lot of stuff in Duluth news too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We already talked about the hairball. Downtown Duluth days start July 8th and 9th. So that means you can come down next Wednesday and Thursday. Usually have a car show Wednesday night. Bunch of old cars come here. There's shops on the street. You can come out here. My favorite thing is the King of Creams comes down. So I get a burger there. That's usually really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in the downtown area or Duluth area, come on down. They've got good discounts on clothes. You can get mini donuts. It's pretty good. And they shut the streets. That whole Superior Street is shut down from, I think, like 3rd Avenue West all the way down to probably 3rd Avenue East, 2nd Avenue East.
Yeah, I mean, parking's hard enough, so let's get rid of all the parking so they can have their little festival. So.
Just walk down the hill and then walk back up after you got a bunch of donuts in your belly.
Yeah, exactly.
See how that works.
You need to walk that off. Yeah.
We talked about the hairball, the mayor's Big 5 action plan. So the Duluth mayor has a Big 5 action plan, and so he's touting this to try to get this place going a little more. And so number one, so the Big 5, number one, housing at all income levels. So he wants to increase housing inventory across all income levels, reducing barriers to development, which I can't wait to find out what he means by that, because that's usually not at the city level.
Right.
Supporting infill and redevelopment projects. Don't know what he means by that. Leveraging city-owned land for housing opportunities. That kind of makes sense. And streamlining permitting and development process. Again, a lot of that runs at the state level, not the city level, but sure, it would be good. So I'm not vehemently opposed to any of those at the state level or the city level. It says more than 800 housing units have recently been completed, with more than 300 additional units currently in development. My question is this: if we're a population at 0% increase, basically a stable population growth, zero population growth, at what point are we going to have enough houses that we don't have to keep building them like crazy people? I mean, they tell us we need 100,000 houses in this state, but they can't justify it with the numbers of people that are being born. Let's see. Number 2, growing the commercial tax base growth. Growing the commercial tax base growth. I don't know. This is right off their website.
Oh, there it is.
Strengthening Duluth's economic foundation by supporting business retention and expansion, preparing sites for future investment, aligning workforce needs, and attracting new economic opportunities. Key initiatives. Supporting business retention and expansion. I wonder what that means. I mean, that's a great sentence. Supporting business retention and expansion. How?
Right.
Preparing
That's lip service.
Preparing sites for future development. Well, that sounds like it's clearing stuff out. Aligning workforce initiatives with employer needs. So why is the city involved with that? I don't know.
No.
Attracting new investment and growth, industry growth. Okay. Mining would be a good place to start. Leveraging Duluth's transportation infrastructure, workforce, and natural assets. What does that mean? Leveraging Duluth's transportation infrastructure, workforce, and natural assets. It means nothing.
Yeah, that's.
Recent-
I mean, the majority of this is just talking without saying anything. So
exactly, it's fluffy, but it sounds great.
yeah,
Number 3, investing in streets and utilities. Addressing aging infrastructure needs throughout strategic investments in streets, water systems, stormwater management, sidewalks, pedestrian safety, non-motorized transportation routes, and long-term planning. Key initiatives: rehabilitating and resurfacing streets, replacing aging water infrastructure, improving stormwater systems, enhancing pedestrian safety, and prioritizing long-term infrastructure planning. So, in other words, doing your job.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
the job of
That's
the city and the county to take care of the frickin' streets.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Might as well say it, but this is what you're supposed to do, not something.
That's their job. Yeah.
Affordable city property taxes. Now you got my attention. Balancing delivery of essential services with affordability through financial alignment, operational efficiencies, responsible budgeting, and strategic use of city staff and fiscal resources. Key initiatives: improving transparency around city finances. Okay, that's not really helping with taxes, but it's good. It's a good thing, right? Transparency is a good thing.
Right.
Identifying operational efficiencies. So Duluth Doge, right? Getting efficiencies.
Yep,
I agree with
absolutely.
that. Exploring alternative funding tools for major projects. Absolutely. Strategically utilizing city-owned assets. Not sure what that means. And managing levy increases responsibly. Our goal is to balance community needs with affordability for residents and businesses. Well, good. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
Property taxes are out of control in this city. Downtown revitalization, supporting a stronger and more vibrant downtown through residential development. Okay, we'll take these one by one. I'm just going to go through them. Residential development, small business growth, improved public spaces, enhanced safety and accessibility, and partnerships with businesses, property owners, and community organizations. Okay, so supporting a stronger and more vibrant downtown through residential development. Like 80% of downtown is owned by private people. So how are you going to do that?
Right.
Small business growth. What does that mean? It's just small business growth. Great. How? Improve public spaces. So cleaning stuff up. Okay. I can see that. It's going to cost money. Enhance safety and accessibility. Okay. I'd like to know the specifics of that. And partnership with businesses, property owners, and community organizations. In what way?
And that's socialism light, to be in partnership with a private business.
Right.
And
so it really doesn't
even proven it doesn't work. No.
Take out everything except the affordable city property taxes. That looks like something that they can actually do. And they talked about real actionable items, making government more efficient, right? Trying to find funding from other places. That's all good stuff. The rest of them were just talk.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That's the big 5 plan from the guy. Let's see. Topics. Duluth Force Fest at Bayfield. So there's going to be we talked about that, right?
Yeah, we talked.
Free family event from 12 to 10:30 p.m. on some day.
On the 4th.
On the 4th.
It's on the 4th. Yeah. So Saturday.
So next story is the Duluth City Council passes a 2% service tax on Lincoln Park businesses. So now if you're going to go down and eat in Lincoln Park or do an activity on there, you get an extra 2% service tax on it.
No, because it says right in the article, the consumer won't pay for it.
Really? I wonder how that's going to get paid for then.
Oh, they're just all the businesses are just going to eat that 2%. It sounds
Oh,
according
I
to
see.
the article.
You're
Yeah.
right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great.
Yeah, it says right in
So-
the article, the additional 2% tax on property owners will not affect consumers in Lincoln Park.
Well,
So they're just
so
the owners. Yeah, they're just going to eat it. So
they see a community that's really building up and becoming something. And so, of course, the natural inclination is we got to tax the crap out of that.
well, according to the article, it says that the business owners wanted it.
Sure they do.
The Lincoln Park Business Group to help keep the area maintained, clean, safe, and marketing efforts. So they want a safe, clean area because they know that the city can't do it in downtown Duluth. So
Do they think the city's going to use that money for Lincoln Park? That's charming. That really
Yeah,
is nice.
exactly.
I like that.
yeah,
Boy, okay. Good luck with all that.
right.
And so they didn't want to charge that extra on their stuff and then put the money together and pay for cleaning up themselves. What they want is mommy and daddy to do it through the city. So they asked for an increased tax so that mommy and daddy can take care of it.
Pretty much.
All right. Ken Buehler, the face of Duluth trains for 25 plus years, is out as railroad at the Railroad Museum. And it sounds like this was not amicable. This sounds like it was something happened, right? They're not talking about
Yeah,
it.
that's the strange part because normally if he just retired or did something else, it'd be a little bit friendly, but it just all of a sudden shows up and he's out.
He's
So
out. Yeah.
yeah. So there's something else going on that nobody's saying anything, and even Ken refused an interview to talk about it. So something else is going on, but I thought it was interesting because he was the guy who was pushing Duluth to get involved in that. Was it Northern Lights Express or something like that? That
Then I'm
train
glad he's
debacle.
gone.
Yeah. So I thought it was great. Now he's out. We hopefully no one will even consider that waste of money Northern Lights Express thing. So
Yeah. It'll come back.
yeah,
Trifecta, we're screwed.
right.
Okay, talk about this one. Transfer of trash from the Duluth area to St. Louis County Regional Landfill has begun. Tell me about that.
So all the places in all the like the Duluth area, just in general, Hermantown, Proctor, they're picking the garbage up and they were bringing it to a landfill, which was I believe it was in Superior. Well, that one's full, so now they have to bring it up onto the range to another one that is still not even close to full. It's relatively empty. So because they have all that additional mileage from Duluth way up to the range, now everyone's trash bill is going to go up to pay for the extra transportation. So
Hooray.
I thought it was just another tax on us that we can't say no to, or we have no
That's my
choice.
favorite
We're just
kind of
gonna
tax.
yeah.
All right. Next thing is an investment firm has bought the Superior Shores Resort, previously owned by Bryce Campbell, who lost control of it in July 2024 after defaulting on his payments just 5 months after he allegedly burned down Lutsen Resort. Allegedly, which he also owned. I don't know anything about it. I'm not saying he did it. Honestly. So,
Yeah. Who knows?
now we have an investment firm that owns that. Correct. That's I'm sure that'll be good for the residents.
Yeah. Well, yeah, can't get any worse. So.
Here's an interesting one, and these are from the Monitor, this is a good paper. If you guys don't know about the Duluth Monitor, you should check it out. Judge Hankey declares Deloitte not guilty and dismisses a journey. So in Carleton County District Court, the first of 3 trials for Andrew Dayetti, I don't know how to say it, a former community youth leader from Finland, Minnesota, commenced on June 30th, 2026, just a couple days ago. Before the jury was permitted to deliberate, Judge Stephen Hankey declared he's not guilty and sent everybody home. So this guy, 41-year-old, was skinny dipping with 2 young girls in a secluded area of the Beaver River. According to the criminal complaint, he was hugging and holding onto the girls from behind, appearing to wrestle with them and throwing them up in the air into the water. The deputy arrested Deloitte and charged him with 2 counts of indecent exposure in the presence of a minor under 16. So it doesn't say how old the girls were, but they were skinny dipping, so they were naked. And 2 counts of 5th-degree criminal sexual conduct, lewd exhibition, all gross misdemeanors. So he was arrested, and then everybody was divided about this. This is the thing that caught my attention. Even the parents of the 2 girls were divided. Friends of Finland director Honor Scholand, whose daughter, preteen 1, so they're not saying their names because they're kids, had been skinny dipping with Deloitte, saw no harm in allowing her then 11-year-old daughter to skinny dip with a family friend. The other girl's mother filed a harassment restraint order against Deloitte. How can you look at this and be okay with this?
Right.
He subsequently received 4 identical charges for a similar incident which had occurred with 2 young girls a year prior. So the prosecutors came forward, concluded their testimony, and the attorney made a motion requesting the court issue a directed verdict, which would find Deloitte not guilty. He argued that the state had failed to present evidence proving that his actions were lewd and that the charges against his client could not therefore be sustained. Nudity and lewdness are 2 separate elements, he said. Perhaps the conduct raises eyebrows, but we're not here to adjudicate social norms. According to the Legal Information Institute, a directed verdict is a ruling entered by a trial judge after determining that there is no legally sufficient evidentiary basis for a reasonable jury to reach a different conclusion. So this guy is coming up from behind girls naked, 11 years old, throwing them in the air, and he sees no way anybody could find that lewd behavior and convict him for it. No way. Although he was arrested, although there's been criminal complaints, there's no way anybody would reasonably consider that lewd. After a 10-minute recess, cha-ching, Judge Hankey granted his motion. He informed the room that Deloitte was not guilty and that the trial was over. Again, no kings, people. Where are you for this stuff?
Right.
So there's that. Moving on. I don't want to talk about that one anymore. It creeps me out. Just to let you know, Judge, if I was on the jury, I probably would have found that guy guilty. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
No, until you see the evidence, you can't say for sure. But I can't believe he could just say, no, that would never happen. And now this next one we kind of talked about before the show. Denfeld head golf coach charged for surreptitiously photographing women. On June 11th, 2026, Duluth police received a report from a woman who alleged that an older male had taken pictures of her from behind while she vacuumed her car 2 days earlier at Tommy's car wash. Oh, poor Tommy. Let's not bring him into it. At a car wash. Investigators obtained the suspect's license plate tag from the business's security footage. So hopefully you don't think Big Brother's watching, because they could just go to other places and get it. And identified him as a 63-year-old Michael, I'm not going to say his last name. I can't, not because I don't want to say it, just because I can't pronounce it. Skrinovi. Yeah. According to Duluth School District information, he is a Denfeld High School head coach for the golf and cross-country program at Denfeld, where he coaches both boys and girls. He also, Denfeld also employs him as a special education para. So here is the criminal complaint. Michael looks at the direction of the victim as she bent slightly at the waist and leaning into her car. Michael appears to get his phone in position at a low and abdominal angle, and he directs the phone's camera to face the victim, who is faced away from Michael as she's cleaning her vehicle. Michael then repositions himself again and moves his phone closer to the victim. Michael is standing on or inside the white painted parking line, which separates his stall from the victim's. As Michael moves the phone closer to the victim, he gets what appears to be less than 2 feet away from her buttocks and angles his phone nearly to an upward angle. There's more to it than that, but I know that they I was reading the article and they did not find any pictures on his phone. And this now becomes a very interesting conversation that Dave and I had before the show, which is what law was broken here? Not that I'm saying I condone it. I think this is creepy and I wouldn't like to see
he's
it.
a creep.
But
Yeah.
he's in a public area. You don't know if he's taking pictures. A 63-year-old guy may be pulling his phone out as far as he can just so he could see it maybe. So I don't know if he's taking a picture or not. It didn't have any photos on his camera. But if you're in a public place, you can take pictures and videos of people and you don't need to get their permission. It's a public right? Am I wrong?
It's completely public. And she was also in public.
Right. They're both in public. Yeah. If she wasn't in public, it would be a problem.
Yeah. So obviously she was in public and she was wearing appropriate outfit for being in public. She wasn't like, half naked, vacuuming out her car in a public space.
Right.
So legally speaking, I'm confused on where he got arrested.
Right. Exactly. I don't know what law was broken.
Right.
If he was like being obvious, not even being obvious, but kind of talking to her or trying to lead her on or something like that, I could see maybe they could get him for harassment. But accordingly, I don't think she even knew this was happening, right?
It doesn't sound like it.
So,
but she's in public.
Exactly. I'm trying to find the rest of the article here so I can read more.
Because even you can make the same argument about the flock cameras in Duluth.
Exactly.
Because people don't know exactly where they are, and they're getting photographed. I mean, what's the difference, legally speaking?
Right. So then let's see. There was a criminal complaint. He originally claimed that he received a call. It was used at his phone at the time. He denied taking the pictures. When they asked Michael to show proof of the incoming call in his call log, he stated he deleted the call log. When confronted about the video showing him taking pictures, he admitted he did not receive a call and he had been in fact taking pictures. So he's now has admitted to it. He said it was a mistake and a stupid thing to do. Why they asked him why. He said he thought the victim was attractive. Okay, sure. He's saying it's dumb. They asked him how long this has been a problem. He stated a few years. So now he's a victim of something, I guess.
Yeah.
There was no photos on his phone. I don't know, man. It just seems really weird. Like, is this a crime? Is it a crime to take pictures in public? And if it is, like you said, flock cameras, how are those legal? Right.
Right.
You could do anything. So it doesn't seem to me like this is now. I wouldn't want him working at my school, at my kid's school, for sure. Yeah, this is a fireable offense, I could think, if somebody caught him doing this, but I don't see a legal problem with it whatsoever. And if anybody has something they want to talk about, that would be great. But until I see it, I think I agree with you, Dave. Creepy? Yes. Illegal? No. I don't think so.
But it's okay to go swimming naked with 11-year-olds.
Yeah, right. That's okay.
That's okay. That's fine. Let's throw that out. That's because that's not lewd.
Right. God. All right, we'll move on to Minnesota legislature. I think we're doing okay, but I'll step it up a little bit here. Here's some July 1st marks the start of some new laws. So the mental health warning label on social media, that starts on July 1st. So X and Facebook, they're supposed to show some warning when you go into them. Ellison said he won't enforce it, but at the same time, he's a proponent of it. He's trying to sue so that they can do it, but he won't enforce it until why would he start enforcing laws now so close to the end? of the election.
Right. Yeah.
Anonymous threat reporting systems for schools. School district boards and charter school boards will be required to have an option to report and treat anonymously, or report a threat anonymously.
Yeah. See, they got that one screwed up.
I don't know how. I mean, they've always been able to do this, right? I guess it's providing a mechanism to report anonymously.
Well, yeah, I think it has to do with the word anonymous. I think because before I thought it was you would report a threat, but it was they asked for your name and what was going on, which makes sense. So now it's going to be like catfishing or swatting someone. So now people are just going to.
The problem with it being anonymous is that you're going to go after people you don't like, you're mad at, and
Right.
you could really ruin somebody's life by doing this.
Right.
At the same time, if you don't report it because you're afraid and something happens, that's bad too. So they better be taking these anonymous threats. I guess they got to take them seriously too. So with a grain of salt, I guess, but.
Yeah, you got to have someone that's really knows the difference between fake and real. So
Right.
I don't know how you're going to do that, but so.
Mental health grant for young kids. A new grant takes effect July 1st to help identify and treat mental health needs in young kids under 5 years old. Man, you got to be a pretty far out kid to be needing help under 5. I mean, I understand there. I've seen some kids that maybe I understand this, but a grant, no. So this is what, more state funding?
Basically, yeah.
St. Paul minimum wage increase. The minimum wage in St. Paul will be $16.37 an hour for small businesses. That's 6 to 100, and macro businesses with 101 employees, it will be $14.25 per hour for micro businesses for 5 or fewer employees. That's up from $15, so it goes up another $1.37. Who wins when we increase the minimum wage, Dave?
Just the government.
Just the government. So for a little while, your pay will go up, and then services will, or products and services will go up to pay for it because the businesses aren't eating it, like you said, and taxes will go up, and payroll taxes go up. So the government benefits by that, but your spending power goes down because now they're going to adjust. And now when they adjust, they can adjust up higher, whatever they want. So for a little while, you'll have a little boost, and then it'll go down again. And now the government's just getting more payroll tax. So yay, good for the government. This is what minimum wages do. And when I had a business, a small business where I was employing teenage girls, well, not girls, teenagers, but they were all girls because it was a salon, as front desk receptionists, because I wanted my stylists to be able to do their job and not have to worry about stopping and interrupting so they could spend time with the customer. Well, they jacked up the minimum wage when I was doing that. And I was on small margins the way it was, so I had to cut hours. That's just the way it is. That's what happens. You either increase your prices, and if you can't do that, you cut hours for the people that are working and make everybody work harder. So what it turned into a nice part-time job for some high school girls to make extra money, and it wasn't a very tough job, right? Do reception, learn how to interact with people, learn how to sweep up and take care of things. It turned into I had to have the stylist do it again and start answering the phone, which ruined the customer experience, made it harder on the stylists, gave less hours to the girls that were working reception. Congratulations. Thanks for the increase in the minimum wage. So
or the other option, if you running a restaurant in St. Paul, is just down the block is Woodbury. I'm going to move because then I can keep my prices the same and give my customers the same experience and let my customers follow me. This is just another way to remove businesses from St. Paul because they can't afford it. They're going to have to move or go out of business. So, that's the other side of it is they're just going to move.
Yeah, do that stuff in Duluth, and people just drive over the bridge to Superior. Pretty easy.
Correct. Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about the Minnesota U.S. Senate race. Ilhan Omar has endorsed Peggy Flanagan in Minnesota state race. Here's what she left out. Flanagan sat on the legislative committee that held hearings on Minnesota's child care fraud years before it exploded to the $9 billion scandal that just ended. That just ended Tim Walz's career. She knew it. She had a seat on the committee and she didn't do anything. This is Peggy Flanagan. She spent years calling herself Tim Walz's co-governor. That's a throwback to Hillary Clinton, right? She was the co-president.
Right.
Now that the fraud is front page news, she wants to be senator, not held accountable. Omar herself calls Flanagan a fighter against the system. So I only mention this because Peggy Flanagan, who is the current lieutenant governor, who doesn't speak to Tim Walz at all anymore, my understanding, they don't speak to each other anymore. Wants to be a senator, and she's socialist right there again. It's communist probably, but socialist for sure.
Definitely.
Adam Schwarzy is the Republican endorsed candidate. If you don't know about him, I encourage everybody to just look up all the candidates. So Adam Schwarzy, Peggy Flanagan, see what they're for, see what the qualifications are, and make your choices accordingly.
Yeah, we did an interview with Adam Schwarzy a long time ago. So look up on our YouTube or wherever you're watching and watch that, and so you get a little bit better background of what Adam stands for.
Right, and he's an impressive guy, and every time I hear him speak, I like his policies more and more. He is an ex-Navy SEAL. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's hungry to help people out. And so please take a look at him at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Moving down, we're going to say states where people are moving. I don't know if you have this graphic you can put up, but it looks like the big winners are, I'll just read out some of the big winners. Florida, 792,000 people. Texas, 631,000 people. Tennessee, a bunch of southern states, Nevada, Arizona, Oklahoma. Who are some of the big losers? California. They lost 1.4 million people.
Yeah.
Minnesota lost 84,000 people. Do you know who we're losing? We're losing the wage earners and the people who have equity, because that tax, that wealth tax they tried to pass was a shot across the bow. That's telling them if they ever get a trifecta, that thing's going through, and they're going to start taxing you on your equity, not your income. And that's just a slow burn to put you into the poorhouse. So New York obviously was one of the bigger ones. California, New York, they got the most people. They lost the most people. Alaska lost 39,000 people.
I was surprised at that one, but
yeah.
I mean, Hawaii was minus 16, but
I can see that.
That's a high blue state, and I mean it really looks like a voting map of, the red states are gaining people and the blue states are losing people. It's generally speaking.
Hawaii, it's so difficult on working class people. Like they have all these resorts. They keep building these resorts and these really high expensive housing there.
Yeah.
But they want people to work there, but they got nowhere to live and they don't pay them. I mean, it really is a bad system they've got there, where you could barely make ends meet with 2 jobs out there. And if they leave, once they leave, they'll never get to go back. I know a few people I know personally who sold their houses. They made a lot of money. They leave and they're like, I want to go back. I can't afford that place. I can't afford any place to live anymore.
Right.
All right. Some Minnesota news. Minnesota's cannabis syllabus, what schools must teach next year. What's this all about? Teach about cannabis?
Yes, they have. It's required now between junior high schools and senior high schools that's part of the curriculum now, is mandated that you must teach about cannabis. So,
in what way? Do you know? Is it it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, or?
Well, they're according to the what I read on it, it's kind of a middle of the road thing. They're because they don't do very much drug, say no to drugs type stuff anymore. they want to, and because Minnesota legalized it, they want to be able to present information to the kids about the pros and the cons of marijuana use. But since none of them are over 18, they can't buy it anyways. So
Yeah, it's
but
just like we weren't over 18 in high school, and the kids weren't drinking a lot of beer.
yeah,
Do
the
you
only thing I
remember,
couldn't
do you
find
remember
out
when we went
if it
down
was
for
funded or not.
Do you remember when we went down for high school basketball? And one of the people, I will not even mention her name or her position, but she was like on the she was like the leader of the anti-drinking, like just say no to drugs and don't drink.
Yeah,
And I walked into a hotel where she was at, and she had a biggest beer I ever saw in my life in a can that was this tall.
yeah.
And I wasn't drinking.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't drink. I mean, I never wanted to. So, but I just laughed my head off when I saw that. It's like the biggest beer I could. It probably weighed just about as much as she did at the time too.
Right.
But yeah. I'm
If
sure
you
they're not going to get it.
see if you can put that next chart up, because it to me they kind of go hand in hand.
Okay, hang on one second. Let me see if I can find it. Or is it the one that does the
The ACT scores,
okay. 1 second, I will put it up.
because now they're mandating that these school districts teach about pot instead of reading, writing, science, math. And so we're going to spend more time talking about drugs and sexual preference and gender ID and all that garbage. And we're going to, hopefully this ACT scores prove that we shouldn't be doing that in schools. Yeah.
What happened in
And that's
2019?
Gee, I don't know. Did we elect a governor then? A teacher governor?
I think we elected a governor who had been a teacher.
Yeah.
And the math one is really disturbing.
Yeah.
Although it could be somebody who put this chart together, graduated somewhere around here and doesn't know what the numbers are. Yeah, look at this. I mean, maybe it's a little misleading. You can lie with statistics. So this looks a
Right.
lot worse than it really is. I mean, you're talking about 19 from 21.5. So it's not that drastic of a decrease. It looks a lot worse because of this chart. But
But this is in Okehanapen, which is the largest school district in Minnesota. But it's just a representation of, we don't need to be wasting our time with drug stuff. We need to be teaching them math and reading and science.
yes.
Just get back to what the schools should be doing. So
I'll tell you a little secret. In high school, junior high school and high school, I used to like it when I found out people were smoking pot or something like that, because I thought I have an advantage over them. I can do better than, honest to God. That's what I was thinking back. It's like, good, go smoke pot and, don't try. And I can do better.
Yep. Yeah, definitely prove that it kills your brain cells. So
Paranoia and all this stuff. I don't know. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
over the years that have done it. And I think if you're not crazy, it doesn't really hurt you too bad, but I don't know. I don't know, because I never tried it.
yeah.
School board member faces backlash over comments on Minnehaha dog park debate. So apparently there was a dog park on what they considered a sacred area, right?
Correct.
So a school board clerk, Chantal, Chuantyll. That is one interesting spelling of a name.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we don't just make dog parks at white Christian cemeteries if white Christians are okay with it. This is a simple fix. Leave indigenous lands sacred and piss on the white corpses. Well, this sounds like a really stable individual. And
Yeah.
she works on the school board. How about that, Dave?
Yeah. So just keep digging a little bit deeper into what a great human being this is. Well, she was also involved. She currently is going to court because She was part of that church takeover, during the ICE
Mhm.
raids. So she was in there, and so she's going to court for that. So she's part of that. And then let's see what else she's got here. Education at system. She owes $5,101 in fines and court fees from 14 separate traffic and minor criminal cases. Those 14 cases include marijuana possession in 2018 and numerous tickets for driving without insurance and a revoked license. In 17 additional cases, she was the amount was reduced to zero, or they sent unpaid bills to collection or prosecution. Records show Allen has been cited 21 times since '98 for driving for license revocation. In 2010, she failed to appear in court 6 times and paid the $478 fine. Over the years, she's been pulled over many times, according to her, because of racial profiling.
Right. I'm the victim. Always I'm the victim.
Yeah.
Which we know is a huge problem in Minnesota, she continued. It's a huge problem. We know it. We know this is a huge problem. Yeah. Okay. And then it wasn't because you didn't show up in court and you didn't have a license while you were driving, but it's racial profiling. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the victim. Victim mentality. And once you get it, you can't seem to shake it.
So she's a problem right from the start. She shouldn't be around kids. She shouldn't be on a school board because she doesn't know anything. She's proven that. Okay.
We're going to kick off the national news and kind of wrap things up here. Tennessee University to pay a professor $1.9 million after that person called Charlie Kirk a disgusting psychopath. And I think he or she was fired. I don't know. They were put on administrative leave after they made that post. The world is better off without him. His kids are better off living in a world without a disgusting psychopath like him and his wife. Well, she's a sick F for marrying him, so I don't care about her feelings. And so he was suspended, and he gets $2 million for this.
Yeah.
Because of being suspended. You're an administrator. You're working at a school, the University of Texas. I wouldn't want you on. I don't care who you're talking about.
Right. Yeah. Anyone with that kind of mentality shouldn't be around kids.
Oh, and she later apologized and said it was insensitive, uncharacteristic of me as a person. No, you'd like to think it's uncharacteristic of you, but this is your character exposed right away. You made the thought, and then you decided you were going to type it into a computer, a phone or something, and you were going to post it for people. That's not an accident. That's not a slip. That's not a reaction. That's you taking an action. Next one is great. The thing that never happens happened again. Long Island school clerk was caught tearing up ballots, trashing votes, and trying to help her candidate win. And so this is great. I'm so glad this isn't still happening, but it still keeps getting brought up. But we're the secure elections, right? This is one is interesting. If you want to play this one, Dave, and then we'll talk about what it says. So this is a man from Uganda, and he is sitting next to the mayor of New York, Manami. And I don't know if there's any video where it goes, but it just says, a man born in Uganda who was elected by foreigners is sitting next to a man with pink hair in front of an LGBTQ LGBT flag, telling Americans he is refusing to follow U.S. law. Make this make sense to me.
And if he's not going to follow U.S. laws, then he can go back to where was he? If he's from Uganda?
Yeah. It's just, it's insanity. I don't know how this guy got elected mayor, and it's just, the downfall is coming from him.
Yeah. I mean, the state lost trillions of dollars because of him, as far as assets go, taxable assets. So
trillions of dollars so far.
So far, yeah. So, I mean, they're going to, reap what they sow, basically.
Right.
So hopefully they understand. It won't get too bad. That Trump's not going to bail them out, which is going to be nice. But
Right. Well, let's move on to international news, and we're going to talk about kind of a one theme here, which is air conditioning. So, the heat wave, otherwise known as summer, has hit France and Europe, and a number of people have died from heat exposure because it is getting hot out there, and they don't let you use air conditioning, or it's very expensive to use. And it just strikes me that it's interesting what the lengths they did for COVID to protect people from COVID. And yet people are being allowed to die of heat exhaustion. Like, these are elderly people too. This isn't healthy people. They can tolerate, but old people can't. So I thought that was really interesting. So I'm going to go down to the 2 stories down. We'll go back to the first one in just a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the one. So we'll do it. The European, let me get that back. European Commission literally shut off the air conditioning, but only on floors 1 through 7, where people of lower rank work. So, so air conditioning is good for us, but not for you lowlifes that work down on the lower levels. 13-story building is home to the commission president, Ursula von der Leyen, her 26 commissioners, and about 3,000 staff. She works on the 13th floor, and most of her commissioners' offices are housed on the floors 8 or above. So they shut it off from 1 to 7. It's tough when you're not one of the more equal people when it comes to socialism.
Right.
And I just thought that was funny because it was Europeans that, they can't use air conditioning, but people from China are posting things where they're pumping AC on for their farm animals. But farm animals in China are doing better than the people in Europe.
Yeah.
And there's the deaths. Yeah. Crazy. And the last thing is UK asylum seekers could have to pay government $13,000 before applying for settlement. Under the proposed rules, the government says repayment would be means tested and limited to adults at above an income threshold. So again, we want to keep the people with means out or make them pay, but anybody else can just come, no problem.
Well, if they put this rule on everybody, then it would be okay.
Right.
So then you keep let's see what they actually do, because then, the UK has got a massive immigration problem that people are just coming in and getting on welfare basically. So if they get rid of all of those and then means test so that the people that are coming in are decent human beings, perfect.
Right.
So I don't know if this is a little bit too little, too late, or I don't know. But
I don't know.
It's in theory, it's a step in the right direction. So we'll see.
Right. All right. That's the end of international news. Kind of the end of the show. We've got health and fitness. We don't really have a subject to talk about. Just get out, especially on the 4th of July. It should be nice out. Just take it easy. Don't get overheated. And then we're going to go to Dave's word of the day. Dave, go ahead.
Let me get the word. Let me get the phrase up. There we go. We're looking at the stories today, and I thought the word malice would be coming up. It would be a good word. A desire to harm others or to see others suffer extreme ill or spite. The intent to commit an unlawful act without justification or excuse. 3, an improper motive for an action, such as a desire to cause injury to another. So I thought it worked well with the Walz and Ellison releasing that sex offender back into our society, just so that just to fight Trump. So their malice was an improper motive for an action such to cause injury to another. So this guy's going to reoffend. They should be subject to malice. Are they? No. They've gotten away with everything else. So, But I thought that was appropriate based on their actions.
I thought malice would be Europeans not allowing their people to use air conditioning. That seems malicious to me.
Yeah. Cool. If you watch the soccer fans coming over to the U.S.,
Yeah.
that was really high on the list of things that they got air conditioning in their houses.
Right.
It's amazing.
I saw a guy, he was like, it's outside and it's 109 degrees. And I walk into the store and it's freezing. And you get water with ice in it. Ice.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
I didn't know Europe was a third world country, but maybe maybe it is now.
Well, King Charles is working on it.
Yep.
All right. I think that ends our show. What do you think, Dave? Good place to end?
Not a bad time. Yep.
All right. A shock out to people. Hang loose. Have a great 4th of July. I hope you go out and enjoy the summertime. Enjoy the fireworks. Try to enjoy it. Try to get in the spirit of it. It may make you feel better. At least take a break. It's almost like Christmas. It's one of those things where you just go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's it for this week. And we will talk to you next week. And until then, I am Sean.
I'm Dave.
This has been the Duluth Conservative. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. And if you stayed on the whole time, we really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.